Welcome to day 7 of 12 days of crafting. Hello, hello, hello. We are back on the good old Google Bing search, and we are looking for an image for today's craft. Same as yesterday, we are going to find our image, right click, save as, and we are going to rename it so that we can find it. We will be using sublimation today, so I will be in Creative Studio and using the Sawgrass 500. The substrates that I'm using today came from the lovely Dollar Tree, so they were $1.25 for 2 pair. All the items that I use in the 12 days of crafting are linked in my bio under the Amazon storefront. From the printer, the inks, the papers, just everything is linked there. But if you have any questions, you can drop down below and ask your questions. So right now, this is Creative Studio. When I first go into Creative Studio, I always like to set the paper size. So I just set the paper size because I'm just going to use 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And I'm going to upload the images that I found, which were these 2 images. So this is what the socks look like. In order to sublimate on something, it has to either be 100% polyester or 95, 97. Because once you get a little lower than the 90s, sometimes it could tend to look a little dull. So these are, I think, 97% polyester, but you get 2 pair for $1.25. And these are just some holiday socks for, the kiddos to run around the house in on Christmas Day, because, yes, it matches our Christmas theme, which is the Nightmare Before Christmas. And, of course, you just saw my handy-dandy ruler come out because I was just trying to make sure that I made the image long enough. So for the width, I went with 4.3, and for the height, I think it was like 7.8. I believe it was 7.8. And if you have a converted printer, of course, make sure that you're mirroring your design. With Sawgrass and Creative Studio, it actually does all of that for you, which is really nice. You just change what you're sublimating on. So I moved it from the ceramic mug to polyester, and we're going to print out 2 pages because we have 2 socks. You want to do the front and the back, or you could just design the bottom of the sock, whichever is your preference. But the sublimation printer that I'm using is the one that is on the very top. That is the Sawgrass 500. You really can't see the back of it from this angle, but there is a bypass tray on the back of my Sawgrass 500. It still prints 8.5 by width, but it can print longer images with the bypass tray. I've also seen people leave the paper tray open and put longer pieces of paper in it. So, there's workarounds for everything. But this is what our image looked like. With sublimation, sometimes the image looks, quite dull when you print it out. But, of course, it's vibrant once you press it. I am going to be using the Cricut Auto Press. It is warming up right now. I have it set at 400 degrees, and I'm going to press it for 60 seconds. So, heat press, 460 seconds. This is just a piece of cardstock. So, if you do not have a sock jig, you can cut a piece of cardstock to put it inside of the sock to help it keep its shape. So just like this, real quick and easy. And of course, line up the sock to make sure that it's on there correctly. But a piece of cardstock, or if you have, some cardboard, in your craft space, you can use that as well. This is a sock jig. I just wanted to show you guys quickly, even though it's not the right size. So with the metal sock jigs, you can just put it in there and you don't have to use the cardstock. Those are really great to have. Of course, they get really, really hot. So always be careful with that. I do not have I call these footies or no-show socks. I don't have a jig for the no-show socks. So that's why I'm using the cardstock. And what you just saw me do was just round the edges so that it can lay in there better. And then we are just going to line our sock up onto our image and use some heat transfer tape. So this was the first little one I put in. I'm just going to take it out and round those edges as well so that the sock can lay flat. Of course, when you're sublimating, especially on something white, it's always a good rule of thumb to lint roll whatever it is that you're sublimating to make sure that there's no little flyaways or little extra pieces onto the garment. I didn't. And like I said, these socks are for the kids, so they'll be just fine. But line the image, and I am going to place the same image on the front, the top and the bottom of the sock as well. Sometimes if you line it up perfectly, you can press it all at one time. I typically don't have luck with that. So there's a piece of butcher paper on the bottom, the sock with the image, then another piece of paper on top to protect your heat press. I've messed my pad on my heat press up several times from weeding on it, poking holes in it, sublimating onto it. So just always make sure you are protecting your investments, and your heat press, of course, is an investment. The paper roll that you see behind the heat press is a Melissa and Doug. It actually belongs to my daughter, but she let me have it for my craft space because she's an awesome little toddler. But it is linked in the bio as well. I like it because, of course, it has a little paper trimmer on it as well. It's easy to load. And it has adhesive on the bottom, so you can actually stick it to something if you wanted to. But I don't. I just move mine around as needed because the cart that this heat press on also moves. So this is what the top of our sock looked like. And now we are going to repeat the same process on the bottom. Now this paper, because it does have bleed through on it, I'm going to trash it and get 2 new pieces of paper. As you can see, mine is not glued down, so I'm able to move it around, and it is very easy to use. I love it. The refill papers is very reasonable as well. So just always make sure you protect your heat press, because once you get something on your pad, you will literally have to keep covering it, because everything that you put on it, it could potentially bleed. Whatever image that is on that pad could potentially bleed onto your next items, and you don't want to be messing up people's orders or messing up things that you're making for yourself as well. And it's the same process. We are just going to tape it down, and we are going to give it another press for 60 seconds. Again, the heat press is set at 400 degrees and the timer is set for 60 seconds. Of course, with the Cricut Auto Press, it opens up on its own. So even if you walked off or you were doing something else, it's going to open up. You don't have to worry about burning your items. And for $1.25 for 2 pairs of socks, I think that is a awesome deal. So this is what our socks look like. And it was a quick and easy craft for our 7th day of crafting. Drop below, let me know if you guys have caught each video, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel, because we will be going live December the 12th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we will be doing a giveaway. So thanks for watching. Oh, I forgot to pull the little paper out to show you guys what the sock actually looked like. But happy crafting, guys.